welcome to the call. How is training camp been going?
Thanks. Training camp been excellent. Like I tell everybody, man, I stay ready. I've been, in the gym training since December because I had a fight. It fell out, and something came up better. So, that just gave me more time to sharpen up, and get ready to shock the world.
So do you have one message for Mr. Crawford before we start taking questions?
A question?
Well, not a question. Before we take questions, do you have a statement you want to say something to for us to get back to Mr. Crawford on?
Oh, most definitely. He made a statement, and his coach made a statement, about the previous guys we fought, and him beating them, and me getting robbed, and at the end of the day, his coach said, well, these guys we beat, we lost to. But everybody knows if Hammer and Hank was with a big-time promoter or, been on the big stage, I'd have walked away undefeated, in these fights. Nobody has clearly kicked my butt. Don't judge a book by its cover. When you come on stage, a big surprise is going to hit you in your face.
I can't wait for Saturday. I'm going to just go down the order of the people I've signed in here. Tony Boone from Omaha, you get the first question.
Hey, Hank, I know that you have been wanting this fight for a long time. What is it about Crawford that you like about that matchup for yourself?
Well, there's a lot of things that I see that, in that fight, that I will, show the world, One thing about it, I take nothing away from him. He has done what he's supposed to have done when he got in the ring. But all that stops when you fight me. I'm a guy that many people don't want to fight. I came up the hard way. Nobody has clearly kicked Hammer and Hank's butt. So I'm here to show the world that, with hard work and determination can get you.
Has your opinion on Crawford at all changed since you signed up for this fight? I mean, over the last, few weeks, have you learned more about him, his fighting style, and I guess, if anything, what's changed from when you first announced the fight to now with regards to Crawford?
Well, at the end of the day, we've been watching. I've been watching him, ever since he popped on the scene at 135. And, nothing has changed with me. He don't impress me. Like I said, he do what he's supposed to do. But when you got the right guy in front of him, that can do all the things he can do, it's going to be a big mental part on his behalf. I've been battle tested. I've been in there with everybody. We want to see, can he adjust to Hammer and Hank? And I guarantee he ain't been in the ring with nobody like Hammer and Hank.
All right, thanks, Hank.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Tony. Norm, any questions?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Hank. You mentioned you were battle tested and that he's going to have to adjust to you. Now, the guys that you fought, how does he compare with the best guys that you fought? I guess I could throw out a couple of names, Beltran or Postal, or is Terence the best guy you faced?
I'm not going to downplay him. He's not actually the best guy that I'm facing. I fought a Victor Postal and a Luciana Joseph. 31 wins, 1 loss. They had a war with the Tuesday. And you see what I did to him on ESPN.
Right.
Everybody has something to say about me being an ESPN fighter, coming short up in fights. But at the end of the day, I'm a fighter that when I get the call, I answer the call. And I put on a hell of a show. And I go out there and put my heart on the line. It's just sad that at the end of the day, I'm not signed with a big-time promoter to get that extra push. And that's what keeps me fighting and keep me driving. I've been in there with some of the best. Victor Post, I went to Russia. Beat the brakes off him. It's on YouTube. You can watch it,
Right.
And fights like this, these guys will not dare fight me in the USA because they know what will happen. I've been calling for that fight. I'm a fighter that none of these guys want to fight. And I'm coming to tell you, man, Saturday night, it's going to be something special in that ring.
So I there was some background noise, but you're saying he's not the best guy that you faced?
He's not the best guy for it, no.
Okay, thank you, man. Good luck.
Thanks, Norm. Bernard, any questions?
Yeah, Hank, you talked about coming up the hard way. Not a lot of fighters come out of Omaha, but a whole bunch come out of Philadelphia. Being Philadelphia born and raised, how much does that mean to you in terms of what you bring to the table?
Oh, man, you got to think about it, man. The everyday struggle, to make it to where I'm at. I started off at the age of 18. Walked in the gym at the age of 18, 23 turned pro. I was smashed and tough since I was an amateur, My first time out at the Olympic Training Center, only had 10 fights. I made it out there. So me going against adversity and me, people telling me what I can do, has been my life story, and I love it. When they put my back against the wall, I come out always on top, and just in life, man, escaping from Philadelphia. Well, I'm still in Philly, but, not too many people, get away from the hood. Our greatest fighters sometimes get killed or end up in jail. I found a way, to keep going and, stay positive and push even harder.
Just a follow-up. Are there any Philadelphia fighters from the past or the present, that you admired or maybe pattern yourself a little bit after?
I could say Hammer and Hank, I'm an old school throwback fighter. Whether you believe it or not, I'm one of them guys that go in here and fight any and everybody. I don't care what your record is. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the media say about you. I'm coming in and fight, and I got my outtake on everything. I could say, I could compare myself to Bernard. Bernard, who you have, Cyclone Hart. You got a lot of greats that came from Philly. The Epworth brothers, the Fletcher brothers. There's a lot of hard-nosed guys that's from Philly that I actually, looked at and mimicked my fighting style, after.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bernard. Greg, any questions?
Yes, Hank, can you tell me, who do you think of the guys that you have fought compares
Cameron Duncan.
Crawford?
To Crawford. Actually, I remember Danny Williams was kind of, versatile.
Hold on 1 second. Guys, we have an open line and there's a lot of background noise. If you can't keep it quiet in the background, just mute your phone, please. Because we're hearing everyone's conversation. I'm sorry, Hank, go ahead.
Okay, I could say Danny Williams, was kind of versatile. He was a more dangerous puncher than Terence Crawford. And then I could actually say Victor Postal and Richard Abreu with the long, rangy type of, boxing. But I was able, to have a lot of success on them guys. I beat Richard Abreu, who actually became, I think, the WBA champ at lightweight. Danny Williams, I beat him too. He actually, caught me the first round, but I showed everybody that a knockdown don't mean nothing. Victor Postal, it went to a decision, and he got the decision over me. But I had a lot of success against some guys.
Well, if I could ask also about the Postal fight, it did get all the way to a decision, and he's pretty highly regarded right now. What do you feel like you did well in that fight, and do you think he's as tough as Crawford?
Well, with Victor Postal, I did good with defense. He got some shots in, but it wasn't nothing hard, basic stuff like a jab. But I was able to slip, countering, and pushing backwards. Victor Postal can't fight going backwards, and I put a lot of pressure on him with the body shot, coming upstairs. And, I was me, I dictated, and him and with Crawford, I really think Victor, you know, is the better technician, to tell you the truth. With Crawford, he get hit on both sides. He get hit a lot.
Mm-hmm. So you think he's possibly vulnerable to your power then?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thanks, Greg. Keith, any questions?
Yes, Hank, I just wanted to clarify. So you think that Postal is better than Crawford, right?
Yes.
And which other fighters, are there other fighters that you fought that you think are better than Terence as well?
Well, I could say, see, what people have to look at, with Terence, he switches up, okay? And that's what he does to try to throw people off. But in the midst of you switching up, going from right hand to southpaw, you get hit. See, the thing that I peep about him, most of these fighters get confused. What happens when you got a guy that do the same thing you could do? The same thing. I'm not taking nothing away from the guy. I commend him. But at the end of the day, it's nothing special to me. I've been in there with every style. So I'm thinking, I could say Victor Postal, that's the fight I would like to see. After I clean him up, I like to see him fight Victor Postal.
So other than Postal, do you think anyone else that you fought is actually better than Terence?
I could say Gary Williams. Well, actually, that could be a toss-up right there. You have Luciano Joseph.
So you think he's better than Terence as well?
Most definitely. You think about it. Who has Terence fought? Besides Gamboa that had a real big name.
Well, Gamboa, I guess, would be the guy that people point to. I know he was smaller, but.
And that's what I'm saying. It was only Gamboa, but at the end of the day, Gamboa was what? 5'2", been off for a year.
5'2" is pretty big to me. I understand. But at the end of the day, Gamboa was able to outbox him too for the first 7 rounds until Crawford switched up and went southpaw, and Gamboa came in with his hands down and got hit. But most people forget that.
Just one last thing, Hank. Do you think Postal would beat Crawford if they fought, or how do you think that fight would go?
I would like to see the fight. Tell you the truth, I would like to see the fight. Most definitely, I could tell you that question after this fight. Saturday night, as I become victorious, and then I could, tell you, I could judge the two. Who will win and who wouldn't win.
Thanks, Hank.
No problem.
Thank you, Keith. Brian, any questions? Brian Graham? All right, next, Dan Raphael. Come on down.
Thanks a lot, Freddie. Hey, Hank, it's Dan Raphael.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I have one question for you, Hank. When this fight was made, there was a lot of names that were thrown out there as possible opponents for Crawford before they got to you. By my count, you were something like 5th or 6th on that list of opponents. You stepped up and took the fight, but are you at all insulted that it took 5 or 6 other guys before you to turn down the fight before your name even came up in the conversation?
Yes, I am, but at the end of the day, they don't want to fight a guy like Hank Lundy. They can talk all that stuff, but they didn't want to fight me. If you look at the pattern, how everything went, you fought Beltran. Then you went to go fight the Norme. They didn't want to fight Hank Lundy because they know what I'm bringing to the table, and Terence Duncan know what I'm bringing to the table. At the end of the day, I was signed with Karen Duncan, and Karen Duncan didn't like the simple fact that all the time I was coming at Brandon Rios. See, I'm a guy where, if I see somebody that I can exploit, I want to get in the ring with him. I want to fight the best. I don't want to fight no bum. And he got mad about that, and so I wanted to go my separate ways because you're my manager, and I wanted the big fights, and you want to give me that shot. So at the end of the day, we parted ways, but at the end of the, I wanted that. So, it's like I'm real insulted, But
you say it again. You're what? What, Johnny? You're really what?
I'm really insulted about it, because I know at the end of the day, none of these guys really want to fight, man. They didn't want to fight Hank Lundy.
Well, let me ask you this, though, Hank. I'm wondering why wouldn't Crawford want to fight you when he destroyed Thomas Delorme very easily and he beat you?
But the thing about that, see, this is one thing about it. The world knows Thomas Delorme didn't beat me. The world knows it. And this is what I'm saying about me being an A and B side fighter. When you're the B side fighter, you're not gonna get the right, end of the stick you should get.
Well, I will say, I don't know if you remember this, Hank. After you fought Delorme, when I saw you in the hotel in New York, you were down about the loss, and you pretty much admitted, I should have done this, I should have done that, maybe you got the better of me. You were talking like you fought a good fight, but you lost a close fight.
No, I was talking, I was mad, and I wanted to be constructive. I didn't want to, say anything that hurt me in the long run. But what I was saying, if I had stepped on the gas and I think it, I'd have stopped. He was done. Even if the fight was a 12-round fight, I'd have ended up knocking him out in the round. Thomas Delorme didn't. Even when you're training, all of a sudden, his trainer told me, you really won that fight. Like, I've been hearing it all over, but I tell you this, Saturday night, I'm not leaving no this if I should have did this, if I should have did that. This is my chance for a world title, and I'm leaving. I'm leaving it all in the ring.
All right, thank you very much, Hank. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Mitch, any questions?
Sure, I'll ask a question. Hey, Hank, how are you today? Good. Just wondering, Hank, how do you remain so confident? You lost 2 of your last 3. Whenever you step up in competition, you lost the fight. Talk about how you remain so confident about your career and also about your chances come Saturday.
Man, it's just life in general. Hammer and Hank weren't supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to be here. But my hard work and determination, my drive, and wanting to succeed in life and make better ways and a better living for my kids got me here by working hard. And at the end of the day, like I said, I got my daughters that will actually be at the fight, and there's no tomorrow. I'm telling you, I'm leaving everything in that ring. This man, he's going to have to knock me out to win because I'm not leaving without a win.
All right, and then my last question,
that's
Hank.
My motivation right there.
Okay, great. Are you at all concerned that any of the comments you've made about that you're gonna knock him out and he's not a special fighter? Any concern that those comments might motivate Terence and give him even more incentive to beat you on Saturday?
At the end of the day, I wanted to motivate him. I want him to come in there and on his A game. Because when they raise my hand and put that belt around my waist, it's not going to be if I had trained this way, if I had trained that way. I want him to be his best to his abilities. So when I win, I have no excuses, or he had no excuses.
All right, great. Good luck on Saturday, Hank. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank Mitch. Mike Coppinger, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
You have any questions or?
Yeah, I have a question for Hank. Hey, Hank, how's it going?
Go for it.
Good, how you doing?
So, how aggressively do you think you need to fight a guy like Terence Crawford, who likes to be patient and take his time in the ring?
Listen, I'm going to push the envelope. See, one thing about boxing, most people can't forget, you got to set the tone in there. And if you fall behind, then it's going to get ugly, because then it's going to be one guy, opening up for everything. He can be patient all he wants, but at the end of the day, he's going to fight my fight.
And you've had a fun war of words with with Terence and his trainer. Are you trying to get under his skin, and do you think you've gotten in his head?
I know I'm in his head. What people tell you, Terence Crawford don't do none of that. I'm already in his head. I'm good at what I do. But I also mean every word I say.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Is there any media on the call that's come in that has not asked a question that would like to?
Hey, Fred, can I ask one other question? Ask Hank what part of Philly that he came up in?
What part of Philly are you from?
I'm from South Philadelphia.
South Philadelphia, Bernard. Don't screw with them. Anybody else got any questions before we bring in Terence?
I'll ask Hank one more. This is Mitch. Hank, how do you think
Mitch, go for it. You don't last one.
Yeah, Hank, how do you think you've gotten inside of Terence's head, and how do you think that'll play out on Saturday?
Oh, you can just see. Like, everybody knows Terence don't talk much, he don't say much, he don't act a certain way, for the fight. But you see the difference Terence Crawford this fight, leading up to this fight. Voicing his opinion, cussing, stating that he been shot, he's from the streets, this and that. You ain't never seen that from Terence Crawford.
All right. Can't wait to see it. Thanks.
No problem.
Thanks so much for taking the time today. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you up here tomorrow for the media workout. And for those of you who want to see Hank specifically, he'll be training at 11:45 in the morning at Mendez Boxing Gym, and he will be available for questions as well. So, Hank, have a safe trip up here. We look forward to seeing you in New York tomorrow.
Thank you, and thanks for having me on, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Hank. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Take care, guys.
Lee, are you on?
The champ is here, yes.
You talking about yourself or you talking about Terence?
Terence is right here. Here he is.
Terence, greetings.
Hello?
Terence, welcome to New York.
Hey, thank you.
We got a bunch of reporters here ready to ask questions, so I'm just going to go down the line and have them ask you a couple of questions each. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Tony Boone, you're up, number one.
Hey, Terence, how are you?
What's up, Tony?
Good. I know we've asked you this plenty of times leading up to this, but now that you're in New York and the center of attention, what's the opportunity that you're presented with this Saturday night to fight at the Garden? What's that mean to you at this point?
I'm just going in there looking to put on a great performance and come out victorious.
Hank had a lot of things to say today, as usual. That fact that there's nothing special about you. You and Bomac have both said that you wanted to use 2016 to be the year that you showed, why you are special. How do you go about doing that on Saturday night, especially since he's basically been calling you out for 2 years?
But just go in there and display my talent and show him otherwise. A person can say, oh, this guy's not special, this guy's this, until he get in the ring with me and then he see different. So that's my job, is to make him see different in there Saturday.
When we came back from seeing you in Colorado last month, the one thing that stuck out to me the most was the fact I never heard Hank Lundy's name mentioned once in the 3 days that we were around you. Do you guys do that on purpose? Are you purposely not talking about the opponent, or is that just kind of the way it worked out?
We never talk about the opponent. My main thing is to make sure that I'm prepared, not worrying about what the other guy got going on or what he was doing or what the case may be with the other guy. I'll make sure that I'm 100%, 110% ready for whatever my opponent may bring, and that way we stay ready for everything.
I guess the last thing, coming out of camp, how do you feel now that you're in New York physically?
I feel great. I'm strong. I'm in shape. I'm just ready. I'm just sitting back, relaxing until fight time.
Okay, thank you much. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Tony. Also on the call is Cameron Duncan. Cameron, you're on, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so any questions for Cameron? He's here. Carl, are you on as well, Carl Moretti?
I am.
Okay, so from the promoter side, we've got Carl as well, so feel free to ask questions to anyone on here. Norm Freudenheim, you're next.
Hi, Terence. Thanks for taking the time. This is a year that some people think that you'll emerge as a contender in the pound for pound conversation. Do you think you should be a pound for pound in that conversation now?
Of course, I feel like I'm already in that conversation right now.
How would you rank yourself against those guys that we kind of talk about at this point, Roman Gonzalez and Gennady Golovkin and Sergey Kovalev? Where would you put yourself?
Well, it's hard to rate myself against those guys that's in different weight classes.
Mm-hmm.
Being that they would never be my opponent, being that one is too big and one is too small.
Right.
But they do good in their weight. I do good in my weight.
Right. Did you hear Lundy's segment of this conference call?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay. All right. Well, good luck to you, man.
Thanks.
Thanks, Norm. Bernard Fernandez, any questions?
Yeah, Terence. Last year in April, you were in New York to get the BWA Fighter of the Year award, Sugar Ray Robinson Award. At that point, I think before then you had said you hoped you could win several of those. Even though you had the two impressive victories in 2015, do you feel like maybe that a little bit of momentum was lost in that you were not, even one of the people nominated or mentioned for any of the various Fighter of the Year awards?
No, I feel that we had a little slow year last year. I don't feel any momentum has been lost because I feel I'm still the talk of boxing right now, so I feel I'm still in the same spot that I left off at.
And a follow-up question, and I guess this could be for Carl and for Terence too, or Manny Pacquiao. I mean, a lot of writers that are on this call, thought that the best fight for him, if the next one is indeed going to be his last one, would have been with you rather than a third go around with Timothy Bradley. And Manny has said, hey, I fight the guys that they put in front of me, which seems to put it squarely on Top Rank that Bradley was their choice. I mean, how do you feel about that in case, that mega fight with Pacquiao never comes off or doesn't come off, that maybe you were not the first choice, by your own promoter to fight him?
Well, I don't know. That was their decision. They had the right to pick and choose which fighters they want to put up against each other, and that's not my job to worry why they didn't pick me and why they picked Tim. I just train and I just fight and get ready for the fights that I got coming up.
Carl and Cameron, do you have, like who basically was the one who pulled the trigger on a third fight with
I think
Pacquiao with Bradley?
I mean, I think as often as the case, we present Manny and Manny's team with the offers and the opponents available, and they come back to us with the preference of who they want to fight. So, I don't know what else to say other than that he was presented with three guys, and that's what, it came back to us. Manny says this is his last fight. We'll see and go from there. And for Terence, his career isn't going to be built around whether he gets the Manny Pacquiao fight now or never. He's going to fight everybody who's put in front of him, and he always tries to get the best opponent available. So, I'm sure there's bigger things to come. But really, all that matters, the most important fight right now is Saturday night with Lundy.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernard. Greg Logan, any questions?
Yes, for Terence, because of all the other names that were discussed for this fight that have a higher profile than Lundy, was there any letdown when you found out that he would be the opponent, and has it helped that he's talked so much trash prior to this fight?
I wouldn't say it was a letdown, but it wasn't something that I was expecting. But when they told me the names and they told me Hank Lundy, I knew that he and I have been going back and forth on Twitter for some time now, and I just want to shut him up.
Okay. And over the course of this promotion, has he gotten under your skin anyway, or said anything in particular that might have upset you?
No, not at all. He said a couple of things that all the time that upset me, but it's nothing that makes me change up my game plan or go in there wanting to do more or different, fight different than I normally fight. I'm going to go in there and fight my fight and do what I got to do to get the job done.
And one last thing, we asked him a lot about how Postal compares to you, and he said that he feels Postal is the better fighter and so on. Is Postal a guy that, where is he on your list of the guys you would like to fight, and what do you see in Postal?
Well, I like to fight him. That's a great matchup. I actually asked for the fight, and I don't know what happened with that side, but he's tall, he's rangy, he likes to box. He'd be a good opponent down the future, but I'm ready for whatever my manager, my promoter is put in front of me.
All righty. Well, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thanks, Greg. Keith, any questions?
Yes, Terence, Hank said when he was on the call that he's fought 3 guys that are better than you. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, those 3 guys that he fought, that's better than me, then so be it. But I'm not worried about what he say about me or who's better than me or who's not, because at the end of the day, we still going to have to fight, and he's still going to have to prove that he's better than me, and that's just going to end the story on that one.
Do you think he really believes that, or is he just kind of saying that for whatever reason to promote the fight or whatever?
I don't know what's going on in that boy head. I just let him talk, man. And come Saturday, it ain't going to be too much talking to do.
Thanks, Terence.
Thanks, Keith. Just a question to myself, Terence. How big a deal is it to you to be headlining at Madison Square Garden?
Oh, it's real big. Being at all the greats out there, and so many legendary fights have been in Madison Square Garden. So I'm just looking forward to going in there and putting my name in the record books for fighting there.
That's great. Dan Riccio, any questions?
Yeah, I'm here, Freddie.
Okay,
Hey,
hold on 1 second, Dan. Somebody is outside with a siren. If they could mute that phone, I feel like they're about to arrest
Fred.
us. Yeah, I think they're coming to get me. Thank you.
There
Okay,
we
go ahead,
better.
Dan.
Thank you very much. Terence, good to talk to you today. I know that the subject of Pacquiao had come up a little while ago, but I'm wondering, in your mind, how much did you want to fight him this fight? I know you said you weren't so much
Oh.
let down by Lundy, but how much were you sort of looking forward to the prospect of getting a big fight against somebody like of the stature of Manny Pacquiao?
Well, actually, I really wasn't like too much looking forward to it, being that wasn't no negotiation going on between the two camps. I would have loved to fight him, but you know, business. Everything happens for a reason, and we here now. And I'm fighting Lundy, and that's what I'm the most focused on.
So, I mean, is it believable that you weren't at all let down, where in the one moment you're being discussed globally as an opponent to face Manny Pacquiao, and then in the next breath you're fighting Hank Lundy, who's, you know, he's lost 2 of his last 3. The one win was against a much lesser opponent. One of the guys that he lost to was a guy that you destroyed, Thomas Lorme. I find it just a little bit hard to believe that it's not at least somewhere in the recesses of your thought process, not a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, it was a disappointment, but at the same time, we didn't get our hopes up high.
Okay.
So just for that particular reason, then if we didn't get the fight, you know, we had a plan B.
Meaning Hank Lundy as your plan B.
Well, we didn't particularly was like, oh, Hank Lundy is going to be our plan B, but our plan B was to fight in New York.
Whoever it was against.
Right.
I got you. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, and I appreciate it. I'll see you at the fight. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Mitch Abramson, any questions?
Yeah, sure. Hey, Terence, how are you?
How you doing?
Good. Just curious, but if you had fought Pacquiao, that would have been at welterweight. Are you open to campaigning at welterweight for any other fights, or do you mostly want to just stay at 140 for the time being?
No, from my understanding, if I would have fought Pacquiao, I would have been at 140.
Okay.
Pacquiao would have came down and challenged for Terence's title.
Okay. So, I mean, Terence, at this point, you don't have any thoughts about going up in weight to just get any other opponents? You want to stay down at 140?
Yeah, well, right now I'm at 140, and 147 is in the future, but right now I'm at 140.
And is there anyone else who you're targeting? I mean, beyond this fight at 140? I mean, who else I know you mentioned Paul Style, but is there anyone else that you're targeting, you know, at your weight?
Whoever. My thing is, I'm a fighter. You know, I'm not a promoter. I'm not a manager. So I leave that up to my manager and my promoter, and I just fight.
Okay, thanks. Good luck.
Thanks, Mitch. Mike Coppinger, any questions?
Yeah. Hi, Terrence. How are you?
How you doing?
Good. You know, you fought in Omaha and you've become a big star there. How important is it to you to establish yourself in another place, like New York City, for example?
Oh, it's very important. That way I got another fan base coming from a different outlet. I feel like I have a lot of fans out here already, being that when I go places, I get a lot of great feedback, so I feel I'm on the right track.
And how comfortable are you at 140? Do you see yourself going to 47 in the near future?
Yeah, of course. You know, I feel I got the height, I got the range. I feel 140 wouldn't be too much of nothing for me to make and be strong.
Thank you.
Is there any media on the call who has not asked a question yet? Great. Is there anyone who would like to have a follow-up question with Terence?
Yeah, this is Bernard. There is one follow-up question I'd like to ask Terence.
Sure.
Terence, you and I both know that Omaha is a city, but it seems like guys from Philadelphia or New York or Detroit, it's almost like they feel when they go against somebody from the Midwest or a city that does not have a particular boxing reputation, you know, that I don't say that makes them bulletproof or anything, but it seems like they feel like that gives them an advantage because they're from this city, or this particular city that is known for boxing? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts is I hope he keep thinking that, being that I'm undefeated and he's not. I'm world champion and he's not. So if he want to think that he's going to have an advantage being that I'm from Omaha, then so be it. That's just to each his own.
Thank you.
Terence, do you think the boxing reputation of Philadelphia is overblown?
Oh no, it's. I look at it like it ain't where you from. It's what you do in the sport. You got great fighters come from all over the world, and if it wasn't for like the likes of like Bernard Hopkins and them and the people that put Philly on the map, who would ever know Philly for boxing? As far as like New York, as far as California, Texas, any city, Vegas, there was always somebody that put that city on the map for boxing, and then people followed the trend, and that gave them hope to want to be a boxer. Or you see a kid say, "Oh well, I was living in New York and I seen Mike Tyson fight. That's what made me want to be a boxer." So then he became the boxer and he became famous. So it never just starts off with, "Oh, I'm from this part of the world and I'm better than that part of the world," because that's not true.
Gotcha. Is there anybody else with a follow-up question? Well, that's great. Well, again, tomorrow, a reminder about the media workouts. Terrence's time will be at 12:30 in the afternoon, and he will be available for interviews. Again, it's at Mendez Boxing Gym on 26th Street. Look for the alert later today. And we'll also have Julian Rodriguez, Shawnee Monahan, William Silva, Hank Lundy, and Felix Verdejo there from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Terence, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. We look forward to seeing you at the Garden. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the workouts.
All right, thanks. See you guys tomorrow.
Sounds great. And for those of you looking to buy tickets, better do it quick. We're about 100 tickets shy of a sellout, and we'll be on live on HBO World Championship Boxing this Saturday night at 10 p.m. Thanks for joining us.